Dr. Jazz.
Johannes, I'll just jump in. I have you on so many records at home, so I said I'll drop you a line. And
Oh,
you know,
really?
you
Wow.
played a lot with Howard Curtis, a friend of mine, and
Yeah.
I was like, okay, shit, I'll drop you a line. And I wanted to ask you what's happening first on the band leading department. Have you been preparing something new? The last one I heard was the tribute to Sonny Rollins, and uh, what's happening there?
Yeah, actually, there's another tribute coming out for Johannes Enders
Whoa, okay,
with Billy Hart on drums and Joris Tepe. It's about to come out in November.
oh, fantastic.
Yeah, it's for my own little label, Amatone. It's a sub-label for Angel Records. And I like to put out vinyl, it's kind of a spleen to have a nice artwork and put out like limited edition of vinyl.
Mm, yeah.
It's I like that.
Yeah, yeah. When did you decide to do your own label?
About 2 years ago.
Ah, how come? I mean, what was the main impetus?
It's Werner Aldinger from Angel Records. He was so supportive over the last like 30 years, and I didn't really want to follow this rule of one record every 2 years
Yeah,
because I have so many ideas that have to be finished. You know that feeling. You have this idea and you have to finish it and then move on. And so my output is a little higher than one record every 2 years.
that's good. Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, go ahead, do whatever you want. I can use Anger for like a vehicle." So I put out this 3 records, the Sonny Rollins tribute, and then I have this organ trio with Renato. I'm
Yeah.
sure you
Yeah, sure.
and Jorge Rossi. It's called Microorganisms. And now we have this Pharoah Sanders tribute.
Fantastic.
It's like 3 trios. I just did a residency at Bird's Eye in Basel with my 3 trios. That's my main own project right now.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's no more rules anymore, right? With the records. I mean, I remember when I started, like I did with Fresh Sound and Clean Feet Records, and it was like, like you said, a record a year, maybe every 2 years. Now it's just like I put out 3 records a year. I don't care anymore. It's just
Yeah, I saw your discography. It's very impressive.
yeah, I just stopped. I mean, so many people I talk to, and like no one is following the rules anymore. Just except if you're, I guess, John Scofield or even those guys. It's
Right.
changed. It's not a record a year anymore. It's just like, yeah, let's do music. I think, and that's good in a way. I hope.
Yeah, the landscape changed so much. Also, the print media, it's
Yeah,
becoming so limited and not so interested in our music, like less and less. I don't know how you feel about that.
oh, I agree. I mean, it's like if I put a record on a label, or I have my own label as well. It's sometimes I'm really depressed whether I should send it again to media, to journalists or not, because it's like I also don't know what the you know what the goal is. You get all these good reviews like, yeah, record of the week, one of the best records of the year, amazing composer, guitarist, blah blah blah, all this,
Yeah.
and nothing changes in a way. You know what I mean? It's like so yeah, I don't know. It's a funny.
I think it's an overload for people, with all
Yeah,
this streaming and availability of everything at all times.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
rough for the fans or the audience to decide.
exactly.
It's but I think what's great is the live concerts. People really love to go to listen to music live more and more again. Get away from the screen, you know, and
Yeah,
have the live experience.
yeah,
That makes me hopeful, you know.
yeah, yeah. I know. I agree. I mean, you know, I have so many old CDs at home. My wife is really angry. The basement is full of 3,000 CDs from the past, you know.
And
And then I just take them, you know, if I have a
I know that, man.
tour, I just sell the old CDs like really cheap, like, you know, €5 or just take it,
Right,
you know, just get the music out there because
right.
it's just sitting there and I'm like, damn, man, it's good music. So, you know, go out. It's like, so
Do you put out vinyl also?
no, I haven't touched that one yet. I mean, I think it's, I don't know, you're good at this probably, but it's still expensive, right? And, you know, it's heavy to carry if you go on the road and stuff to sell on the gigs. These are two things that I'm like, yeah.
That's true. That's true.
So,
But there's a community of vinyl fans, you know.
yeah.
And if you get in touch with them, it's cool, yeah. I mean the carrying around is heavy, I know.
But yeah, I mean, the Bandcamp I found really useful, you know, the last 3, 4 years it's building up, I see. And, you know, when you put out a new record, people actually listen or buy it or order a physical CD and stuff like that. So it's not so bad, but it's a lot on the artist nowadays, I think, you know, on us that
Yeah.
you know, we have to write the music, get the band together, you know, I even master and mix my own CDs. Then you have to like, you know, put a tour together, like sell the music. Like it's damn man, it's would love just to play, but to compose. But yeah, the reality has changed, I guess. So
But you know, I think you just go and do your thing
yeah,
because at some point it pays off. I mean, it sometimes it takes years, but if you stay true to what you want to do, then I think it pays off in the end.
yeah,
And
yeah.
don't look too much on the left or the right, like what's hip there and hip, and
That's heavy, right?
I just go ahead and do my thing, you know.
Mm, yeah,
And,
yeah. And I wanted to ask you. I mean, since we touched it, like, how do you decide? When I look at, I have a couple of CDs of yours at home, and you know, I know your stuff like from Bright Nights and the Enders Room, and you know, now you touched Pharaoh and Sonny, so you're really investigating all different areas. Like, how do you decide where to go musically, or have you decided actually since the beginning, like which record to do? Like, because Enders Room was completely different, or the Niels Peter Mulver stuff, and you know, like it's
yeah, it's totally intuitive. So I have this at least two parts of my soul, probably many more. Like I really love this acoustic American jazz, you know. Always try to be like you never get there, and it's good, you know, like Stan
mhm.
Getz, Brantford, Coltrane, Wayne. It's always like it's good that you're never gonna reach that peak. It's great because you can always work on that. But at some point, when I started this Enders Room, I had this crisis. Like I didn't really know if it makes sense to try to sound like you American idols, like
Mm.
which I tried to do for like 15 years at that point. And I went into some heavy crisis, like didn't want to play anymore.
Oh,
It's when I was 28. And then I didn't play for 1 year, and then I bought this
oh
first.
wow.
I bought this first Atari computer, and with the first Cubase program, you know, and I was in my basement, parents' house basement, like totally out of it. But I started just fooling around with this Cubase, and then composing the first tracks of Enders Room.
Okay, interesting.
And I couldn't hear my sound anymore. Like I hated my sound, and I was heavy, and took like 2 years actually to till I picked up my horn again.
Wow, man.
And by that point, I had like 10 compositions from Enders' room. And then that's how that started. It's
Interesting.
I call it room because it's a different space because I grew up with Stevie Wonder, Earth, Wind and Fire, and all this stuff, you know, and I love this music. And I try to have these influences in that more popular. Weather Report is kind of in that also.
Did you have like a specific jazz moment when you were, I guess, a teenager that you said like, shit, I want to play this music? Did you hear like a record or?
Yeah, I know exactly which record it was. It
Oh,
was no, I when I listened to Earth and Fire, I had this saxophone solos, and he said, "Wow, I really like I want to play saxophone." And then you came across Mike Brecker because he was so much influenced in it, rhythm and blues and funk. But I remember when I bought this record, Charlie Parker live in Washington with a big band, and that was it. Fine and I know this one song, Fine and Dandy. He plays this pickup. It's like, wow. And then I heard Charlie Parker and I said, that's it.
Wow.
Because it's so free and so positive and so, I think I was like 15 or 16.
Okay.
And that's when I knew I want to go on this path.
Yeah. And then you went, I mean, did you go like through the usual path? Like, you know, you mentioned Brecker and then I guess Sonny and Pharaoh, or like, how did you start investigating? Like, we're talking about mid 80s in Germany. So like, what was happening there for you?
You know, I had a funny career because when I finished school, I was 17, and then I told my father I really I wanna be a musician, and he said, yeah, that's a good idea, but you should have a traditional training, like a traditional job, and if you finish that, I support everything you do. So I did this training as a telephone mechanic
Oh, wow. Okay.
for 3 years when I was 17. That was the deal, you know. So I was like, oh man. But I got up at 5 every morning, went to Munich on the train, started at 7, and came back at 5 and practiced for 4 hours and went to sleep. And that for 3 years, because I knew I don't want to end up doing this job for the rest of my life.
Sure.
And I had jazz lessons in Munich with Jürgen Seefelder, really good saxophone player. And I did this for 3 years. No girlfriend. I was panicked, man. I practiced like crazy. And then I finished this job, you know, this training. And then I auditioned in Graz, and that was it.
Okay.
When I was 19 or 20, I went to Graz.
Wow.
Study there. And that was it.
Yeah. I also read you went to New York then. How did that story happen? And, you know, going from Graz to New York, I think it can be quite a shock. I mean, at least for me, it was going from Maribor the first time to New York. I was like, it was too much. You know, like, how did this story with New York happen, and how was it like for you?
You know, in Graz, they always had these great workshops with musicians from all over the place, New York especially. And I remember that Reggie Bergman was doing in a workshop, and I played with him some little gigs. You know, Darko Stanekowski, you know that name?
No,
He was a legendary drummer from Split, like
no, don't know.
amazing drummer. He disappeared somehow, but he was like one of the cats from former Yugoslavia. I was like,
Really? Don't know. Well,
but back then it wasn't former. Back then it was still Yugoslavia.
Yugoslavia, sure, yeah.
Yeah. And we did some gigs with Reggie. We played I Love Supreme.
Really? Oh man, wow.
And then he said, yeah, you should come to the new school, because Reggie was running the new school part. And I got this scholarship, like half scholarship. So I went, you know, I was like, that's it. I was crazy, you know, I really wanted to go to New York. I didn't give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Today I was like, whoa. Today I would be more like hesitative. How you say?
Yeah.
But when I was 21, I just no question. I go on the plane and
Wow.
then I had the luck to Vincent Herring. He is a good friend of mine. I stayed at his house the first couple of weeks in Brooklyn. It was really amazing.
Mm.
So that's how I came to New York.
How long did you stay there? I mean, to study?
For about 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever consider then staying there also after the studies, or?
Yeah. What's incredible was I was at the new school and all this, I was in a class with Brad Meldau and Chris and Roy Hargrove,
Okay.
Larry Goldings and Pete Bernstein. It was my colleague students.
Wow, that's nice.
I was in a class, Donald Byrd improvisation class, and Jimmy Cobb rhythm class. 10 o'clock in the morning. Jimmy Cobb playing drums, Brad on the piano,
Crazy.
jamming. It was too much. Yeah, I like to stay, but somehow I have this really strong family connection, and I played so much in Europe.
Sure, yeah.
At some point when you stay in New York is really so great, but then after 2 years
It's too much,
see the negative sides and the struggle, and I thought I don't want to live off rice and beans for 10 years before I make a cut,
Yeah.
You lived in New York, right?
Oh yeah, it's like I'm listening to my own story right now. But I didn't study. I mean, I just went there. But yeah, I ate burritos and hummus for. I mean, that was.
I loved it, but
Oh, I loved it too. But now, when I look back, I would not do that. It's like the quality of life in Europe still. I think it's.
exactly.
Yeah, but it's a good way to learn. To get your ass kicked. At least for me, it was. And
It was so important to be there to experience
the real deal. I mean, especially back then when you were. I think that's where all the guys were still alive, right? I mean, Alvin and Art Blakey and all these guys were playing actually gigs still. And
I heard all the guys, Max Roach and Joe Henderson with Roy Haynes and
come on,
and Sun Ra and Art Blakey.
Yeah,
I went to Art Blakey's funeral. It was like amazing, in Harlem with all the messengers there playing, and it's this experiences. But this New York is not anymore, I guess.
No, what I hear, it's like it's changed quite a lot. So many clubs closed, and all the musicians I'm talking to now, it's complaining, but they're saying it's not the same anymore. It's still good and amazing level of musicians, but
sure,
Europe has changed as well. I think so much in the last 10, 15 years. Now you can really find amazing drummers and bass players and saxophone players and everyone, So
the level went way up in Europe.
Yeah, which is great for us.
Definitely.
So yeah, I mean it's different. I guess it's different. Yeah.
But still, it's great. It's just
sure.
What I learned in New York. It's more the intensity of, how you say, the determination.
Yeah.
Of doing it. It's so much higher.
Yeah.
Because as Europeans, we're a little spoiled. We can always fall back into this comfort zone, which a lot of people there can't.
True.
That was a big inspiration for me to value what you have. And
yeah, I agree. But you're young also then, and you don't have a family, or I think you go through everything when you're 20 or 20 something. It's just
right.
You can practice 10 hours a day and eat beans. That's it. You're somehow happy, or just like shedding that stuff, and it's amazing if you think about it back.
It's really great. I was living with Peter Michelic for a while. Peter Michelic?
Yeah, the piano player. Yeah.
So funny, man.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
We had such a great time.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know where he is, whether he's still in New York or I haven't.
It's funny. I just met him because I played in Slovenia and Ljubljana at this culture center. I'm sure you know it. Art.
Zankaredom? No.
It's like a cultural institution with a nice stage. I played there with Rinaldo and Jorge Rossi, and Peter was there.
Really?
And Yuri and everybody.
Oh, wow. I didn't know.
Great Slovenian jazz scene you have there.
Yeah, so many players, man. It's like,
Yeah,
it
Chaco.
just, yeah, just the venues. There are not so many venues. That's the problem. We have like 2, 3 venues maybe that, you know, if you go on the road with a band in Germany and Switzerland and Austria, there's many clubs, and in
Right.
Slovenia there's like 2, 3 gigs that kind of pay well.
Ah, okay.
So it's like, yeah. But yeah, it's you know, many musicians, and we're close to Graz. I mean, at least I am, and you know,
Right.
Munich for me is like 4.5 hours by car, so
Right.
it's not so bad. It's quite good, yeah. But it's all, I think in music there's no borders anymore. It's just like one.
Right.
When I set up a tour, I just look at kilometers, how much you can travel per day. That's it.
Right.
You know, so which is good, you know. I like that. Yeah. How did Bright Nights happen? I mean, that's the first record I bought with you on it, and I love that record still. You know, you've written some great music. Thanksgiving, that beautiful tune there, and uh, like, what's the story behind that record? And I know you did one before already, like '92, right? That's South Africa.
Right.
Like, when did you decide to become a band leader, and what's the story there?
Bright Nights happened because you know, Ingrid Jensen was on tour with Howard. That's how I met Howard the first time.
Ah, okay.
And I played some gigs with them. And then I asked if they want to go to the studio because they had a day off.
Mm.
And then I wrote this music, and there was no grand piano then at that studio, so we decided to use the Fender Rhodes. George Colligan
Yeah,
and Dwayne
please.
Brno, man, he died way too young.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
That's how that happened, yeah. So, and I always wanted to be to record my own music because it made it easier for me to get away from my idols.
Yeah.
And you know, Angel Records, I always got on their nerves, sent them all of my stuff, and then yeah, maybe next time, maybe, and then finally they said, okay, let's put it out, just to yeah. There was
Document where
first
you're at.
record I did for Angel was Discoveries with Adrian Mears
Oh yeah.
and Joey Calderazzo and Ronnie Burrage and Ed Howard.
That's also a monster crew, right?
Yeah,
It's like Ronnie Burrage and, you know, Ed Howard. He's one of the most underrated bassists I think there is. Like, those
what a,
records with Gary Thomas, I mean, like, whew,
what a great bass player.
yeah,
Or Roy Haynes for 10 years.
yeah. Such a player, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I always wanted to, usually I write 10 songs every 1 or 2 years, and then I record them to get them out of the way. You know,
We're all the same, right? It's like
make
only if you have a
bass.
project you write that, then
Right.
yeah, it's
Actually, now I have 10 more in my head. I didn't even write them down. So I have to do that.
which direction will you go? What's the next idea of with your original music?
I think about doing something with maybe bigger setup with more horns,
Ah, wow, okay,
4 or 5 horns.
beautiful.
You know, I love to speak like a child, Herbie and Gil Evans, and
Sure.
I love that music. Gil Evans, the individualism of Gil Evans is one of my favorite records with Wayne,
Yeah.
Elvin. And I like this. You know, so I don't care if it's fashionable or not. I just like to do it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's no rules anymore. Like we said, I mean, it's just music in the end, right? If it's good
Yeah.
and if you like it, I think that's important, like you said, yeah.
I don't believe in trends so much, you know. I mean, there's so much great and complicated music. It's great. For me, it's about warmth and spirit and soul also.
Yeah,
And that's timeless, you know, for me.
I agree.
I can understand why festivals and writers always want to have the new stuff. But for me, it's not so important.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. I mean, you do what you do, right? That's who you are, in
Yeah,
a
sure.
sense. It's
You do what makes you feel home. That's, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. I've written in the past, like, you know, all these odd meter 10 pages lead sheets with constantly changing meters. And then after a while, I got so sick of it. I was like, oh man, it's great to learn stuff, but now that it's so nice to write just like a nice rubato, Paul Motion-esque ballad. Just play that, like,
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
so more relaxing. But yeah, I guess it's phases we all go through, and it's good.
I think there's some people who are really amazing at it, like Christian Lillinger. I saw you did
Oh yeah,
something.
yeah. We played with Christian together. We did 2 records together. He's crazy, you know, like.
Yeah, but for him, it's so natural.
Yeah,
It's so in his blood, and that makes total sense.
yeah, yeah. All these guys, like Tyshawn, you know Tyshawn, sorry?
No, no.
He's from New York, like one of these crazy drummers, and he's the same. Like, you know, he's playing, I don't know, quadruplets over triplets over 17 something mixed. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, what? But it makes sense in a sense when you listen to him. But it's just like, what, come on.
You just have to really get into it, and then if
Yeah,
it's a new art, then it makes sense.
yeah,
But
yeah.
if it's not, you always have to like, oh shit, oh fuck.
True. It's a good way to learn. I mean, in a phase, just. But yeah, you kind of return to who you are, I guess. That's in the end. That's how I see it.
It makes sense if you have a band that works on that stuff all the time, like Christian has.
Yeah,
I think this trio with Joris Westergaard and Christopher Dell, and they
yeah, yeah.
work
Exactly,
together for years now, and that makes total sense.
exactly. Yeah,
When I go to the studio and then you rehearse for 2 days and you want to record that stuff, that's, doesn't make sense.
yeah,
I see that with Billy. When you give Billy all the space he wants, then it's so amazing. I mean, he's always amazing.
yeah.
But
How did you hook up with Billy, by the way? I mean, I love that. I love that Route F record and live at the Dunbar also, and
right,
it's such great playing, man. That trio, like,
and you know
I
all
feel,
these records. Wow,
yeah, I love music, so it's like
wow.
I still have CDs, too many. So luckily,
Me
I have
too.
my own studio, so that they're down there, not
Wow.
bothering anyone. But like, how did you hook up with Billy and playing with him?
I saw Billy at the Visiones all the time back then in New York, and
Ah,
he was always my favorite drummer because he was on all these records I love, like Stan Getz and
mm,
Hal Gelber with the Brecker Brothers and Lee Konitz. And I just called him one day and said, do you want to go on tour with me and do a record with Ed Howard was on bass and Farao, the
mm,
Italian.
yeah.
And he said, yeah, yeah. He was hesitating. I was like, yeah, can you pay me? No. And then, yeah, sure. And then we went on tour and did this record.
Mm,
It was 2001, I think.
ready.
Right. And since then, we went on tour every year for, now it's like 12 records I did with him.
Ooh, okay, that's a big one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it easier? I mean, if you look back now, you know, when you went on the road in the early 2000s or even earlier, if you compare the scene now in Germany, gig-wise, what's changed in your view as a band leader or touring musician?
Well, a lot of things changed. A lot of promoters are not there anymore, which loved our music.
Yeah.
It changed. There are a lot of people that look out for other stuff than music, in when they program a festival or you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's I mean, it's great to have this diverse movement, but if you concentrate too much on the visual
Yeah,
and not too much on the music, then it can be a problem, I think.
yeah. We're
But
not
it's
good looking enough, so
yeah, it's great to have all this diversity. I mean, I'm
no, no,
all
yeah,
for it, but if the music suffers from it, then I don't know if it makes sense.
yeah. Yeah. But did you have a management in the 90s when you did those Enter records, or did you all book your own tours, or
I did it all myself all the time.
yourself? Wow.
It's
Okay. Okay.
kind of crazy, you know.
Yeah. It's
Like Billy always needed his little cooler box, you know. I bought this cooler box because he needed his cereal and milk on the road and hire the drums from Pearl and take care of everything.
oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. I've been there. I've been doing that. Like, yeah.
I actually I would have needed a nurse, but I couldn't afford a nurse, you know, for Billy. I'm kidding.
No, no, but yeah. I had like 2 years ago a tour with Bob Moses, the drummer,
Yeah.
and Adil Anderson on bass, and we did like 17 gigs in a
Wow.
row. Like I was, and Bob screwed up his back. So, beside being a driver
Oh
and the
man.
band leader, composer, and all this usual shizzle, I had to like every day set up Bob's drums
Oh my God.
because he couldn't do it, And I was like, man,
Wow.
that's insane, like just what you do actually as a band leader. Of course, booking your own tour, like you said,
It's totally insane.
it's insane what we do. It's like,
But you were probably younger then, right?
oh, well, that's like 2 years ago.
Two
So
years ago. Wow.
yeah, I was really, after that tour, I was like, shit, I'm not gonna do this anymore.
I know exactly what you mean.
But you fall in the trap again, like, ah, maybe I could do something again. It's like,
But when you're on stage and play, then you forget about that stuff.
yeah, yeah. So it pays off in a
Yeah,
sense.
now I'm so happy that I have these memories of all these tours.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you before, like, you said you stopped playing the sax for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And how do you deal with the issues of creativity and sound now on tours? I mean, I have this issue sometimes when you play 10 gigs in a row. When that's the case, I get sick of myself sometimes after gig 6 because, I get the feeling I sound the same or repeat myself, I guess, but it's your own sound. Like, do you have some problems like that, or how do you deal with them?
Totally. Actually, it was worse than when I was younger.
Mm,
But somehow it changed when I learned to play more and more what I really hear, you know, like be more intuitive and
mm,
really play what I hear and be more spontaneous.
yeah,
But when I was younger, I've probably fell back more into routines. And then when you have these routines, you repeat yourself more,
yeah,
and then you get sick of it. But when you really just totally trust your hearing, it's much better actually
yeah,
now.
yeah. Yeah, I know.
It's like Lovano, you know, he's a big idol for me, and he's so spontaneous and intuitive. He just jumps into it in this space, and then sometimes you fuck up, and it's no
it's
problem.
nothing wrong with it. Yeah,
I think that's the music today. People are scared of because everything is recorded and everything is that they like the mistakes. I think if you have how you say in German we say Ecken und Kanten. If
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, yeah,
you know what I mean,
yeah. Kind of.
this organic feeling. Like if everything is too perfect, then for me it's like okay, it's now classical music, and
Mm-hmm.
that sometimes that sounds really strange now, but that bothers me sometimes on classical music that it's so perfect. You know?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
I like music that's not perfect. It's organic.
yeah, yeah. Not to be scared. I mean, yeah,
Like playing free, for example, like the masters who played free, like Train for sure. Dewey Redman, you know, the guys who can really play but then play free. That's really interesting for me.
mm,
And you mentioned Paul Motion and
yeah. All these guys. Yeah,
even Lee Konitz, you know, he liked to play free.
yeah,
He was the master of melodies and rhythm, you know. Like,
yeah. Yeah, he's amazing. Like I just talked the other day with Dan Tapfer, you know, the piano player who
yeah,
played with Lee, and he said they used to play free so much together on the road, like as a duo. And Lee was one of the best free players, but not in a sense of Peter Bertzman free, you know, like this,
yeah.
just like melodic free playing, like the lines. And he said, like, man, Lee was like, you know, it's like Ornette. Ornette is, you know, every solo is like, damn, what a melody, and it's
Yeah.
free or whatever, you know. It's I like that. It's just ah,
You
it would
create
be.
structures with playing free, you know.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
structures is really important for me.
Oh, me too. Yeah,
Like in nature, everything
yeah.
that's beautiful has structure. If you cut a tree open and you look at it with a microscope, it's a beautiful structure or
Mm,
a snowflake or whatever. So
mm.
for me, structure is kind of really important.
Do you sometimes play completely free, or at least that you go like? I mean, when I try, you know, lately I've been doing a lot of playing ahead or a melody, and then the solo sections are open. Or do when you write music nowadays, always rely on harmony or?
You know, sometimes I do this with my master students. I tell them, let's play free, but let's not play like.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's play free and decide for some. Let's play a free and play a ballad. If
Exactly.
with this conviction that the audience cannot hear the difference between is it a real ballad now or do they just play free? So we pick a tempo and then we play, and then we do the same with time no changes,
Hmm.
the blues and minimalism and funk.
Yeah,
So we pick some kind of frame,
something to hold on to,
but the
onto
rest is
basically.
free, and then it's really cool, you know.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah, I love playing free when you write a melody. You know, it's a melody and then open it up.
Right.
I love this concept lately. It's
Totally,
just
totally.
so much freedom then, and so unpredictable. It's a nice thing to be creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Johannes, I wanted to ask you one thing. Like, where did Jorge Rossi come into the equation for you? Like, how did you start playing with him?
You know, Jorge was always on my list of my favorite drummers. I heard him when he played with the German piano player Klaus Ignacek
Hmm.
and Jean-Louis Racine Foss. And I heard him the first time. I was like, wow, he's so elastic and bouncy and
Hmm.
still always dynamically in the, he has this incredible talent to like a sound engineer, you know, like we know exactly where he can support everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know how. Then I played with Billy in the Bird's Eye in Basel, and he showed up, and
Okay.
we met more and more. And then I asked him to do his Sonny Rollins tribute thing, and since then we play quite a bit the last couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Such
love the trio with Henning. I mean, I love Henning as well. He's such a great player.
Yeah, totally.
And,
Yeah, Jorge is really man, but he's so busy now. It's kind of hard to get him.
yeah. Yeah. And I know we spoke once, like, about something, and he was like, "Yeah, maybe in 2 years." I was like,
Right.
"Man, okay, Jesus, man, okay, that's a
Yeah,
long one, you know, like, okay, but
he's
yeah,
on the road all the time, like Billy.
yeah, yeah." Billy's like 80, right? Or something like that already.
83, I think.
And he's still playing. That's crazy.
You know, he's on the tour since 65 years or more, 8 months a year at least, like all the time.
It's
And then he
insane.
teaches at three schools.
Yeah.
I don't know how, I don't know how he
Yeah, the energy, right?
do that.
Yeah. It's all these guys.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like with Ariel, Anderson, he's 80 or 79 as well. And he's just playing, man, and it's just the energy. It's there. It's like, sometimes I'm like tired or like, and he's like, oh, let's, like, come on, let's do it. Like, oh shit, yeah, like you're there. You're like, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
focus, man.
exactly.
It's nice to see from this older generation this enthusiasm still and energy.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
That's what I meant before, this determination.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And when they are gone, this generation, and there are not so many left of that generation.
Yeah.
Like Jack cannot play anymore, I think, Jack DeJohnette.
Yeah.
Roy Haynes still plays, which is like unbelievable.
That's crazy, yeah. But yeah, they're slowly going, this first generation, of players.
He is the first gen.
I mean, kind of, yeah. They're
last one of this generation at least. Sonny is still there, but he can't play anymore.
Yeah.
Benny Golson just died.
Yeah, saw that, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the greats, yeah.
But they're all in our hearts.
Yeah, and we have to continue carrying the torch then. So it's on us. Yeah. What's still in the schedule for you, Johannes, this year? Or you mentioned a new record in November, and with Pharaoh's music. Like, are you going to promote this? Some touring coming up, or what's the plan?
It's funny. We did a tour already in April because that's when the vinyl came out. So it's
shit, okay.
And Billy couldn't do the tour, so Gene Calorazzo was playing, which made sense because he played with Pharoah for the last couple of years. Gene Calorazzo, great drummer.
Yeah, from London, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I met him when I was living in New York. He was always in our apartment for jam sessions with Joey. And yeah, we're gonna promote. We're gonna play some gigs in the fall with my organ trio with Renato, and I do some stuff as a sideman. And then I have another project. It's called Standard Questions. So I do only standards, which are questions like you met Miss Jones.
Okay.
How it's been going on? Where are you? And what will be the rest of your life? And I did some little arrangements. We go on tour in February and do the next record for my label.
It's a trio or a quartet, or?
It's with Oliver Kent on piano.
Mm-hmm.
Great friend of mine, great piano player. And Gene on drums and Josh Ginsberg on bass.
Oh, okay, beautiful. Fantastic.
Then we have a tour with the Pharoah thing in May next year.
Okay, so cool. Yeah, hope you make it to Graz or something. Drop me a line, or.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we should meet and.
Yeah, we should play. Like hook up with Howard or do a trio session or something.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, I would love to. So we have a guest room here in our house also. If you want to stay, you can freely have a drum set here as well and everything. So. And
yeah, let's bring Howard. He's another incredible guy with 2 kids now.
I just spoke with him the other day. He was like,
he's 70 now.
Yeah, crazy.
It's incredible how he does it.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, let's hook up with him. That would be great.
Yeah, let me know if you're going to be around and have a 2 or 3 days off, and we get together and
it would be great.
Have some wine and good food and play music or whatever. So
yeah,
it's always fun. So fantastic.
Yeah, let me know when you come close to Munich or Leipzig.
I will. Yeah, I don't think this year I'm doing it. We had a tour in May, so I'm kind of have enough for this year.
To recover from the tour.
Yeah, I do have to, man. It's and I have like 7 mastered CDs, albums on the computer. It's like shit.
Okay.
Should slowly put out some music and but it's always like, you know, like we said, you always have this will to write new stuff and do more and more, even though it's, but yeah,
Good man.
it's what we do, I guess.
Definitely.
Yeah, but cool.
Protect your inner flame
Yeah, something like that.
and keep going.
Something like that, yeah, definitely. But cool.
Great, Samo.
Cool. Johannes, stay in touch. I'll send you a link when this is out. And
Yeah, thanks, man, for the interview, and
yeah, thanks for finding the time. Appreciate it.
thanks for thinking of me.
Yeah, oh man, gladly. So.